Hi guys, it's Odette again. So arriving, you've done everything else, you've got your tickets, maybe you haven't got your tickets but you've packed your suitcase and you've got there and everything, and you're thinking, okay, we've been up all day, we've been fed on the plane, which was okay food, but we might get a little bit hungry when we get to our hotel or we get to our villa. If you've got car hire and you can, I'd say stop at a supermarket on the way home, maybe get some coffee and some milk just for the next morning if you get up really early, because your body's going to be so out of sync. You're bound to wake up quite early, especially if you're going to go to the park the next day. You're going to be all excited as well. So I'd say maybe a bit of coffee before you go off for breakfast. Maybe get some cookies and some crisps so that if one morning you don't go out as early as normal, you've got something to snack on. Or if you come home in the evening and you've had dinner quite early but you're not planning on going to bed when you get in, you've got something to snack on in the evening as well. We tend to just get like their little open cookie things, like a Chips Ahoy thing. You can get them in bags and they're smaller, but we tend to get the ones where you can open them up and reseal it, and just some like Doritos or something just to snack on. I think sometimes we get a bottle of Coke. I normally get a bottle of Gatorade as well. We definitely got some tea and some coffee when we went, because we knew we were getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning, if not earlier. And people were going to want a tea or a coffee before we went out for breakfast while everyone was getting ready, because some of us were ready before the others, and then some of us thought, okay, I can drink a coffee pretty quickly, I'll make one once I'm ready, just before we go out the door, because we don't know where we're going to stop for breakfast and how long we're going to be. Eating places. So we've been to quite a few over our years. One of the great breakfast places that's quite cheap is Sizzlers. They do like a buffet breakfast, and it's something like $6.99, and then you pay for a drink on top of that. And it's kind of like just a cafe looking place when you go in. They got the booths. As soon as you walk in, you pay, and then you'll go and be taken to a seat, and then you can go up straight away and just eat as much as you want. Another one the same as that is the Ponderosa. I think they might be $1 or more expensive, but they're exactly the same. They generally finish around 10, 11ish, I believe, because then they start getting ready for lunch, and lunch is kind of the same thing where you just pay a small amount of money and it's like a buffet. I'm not so sure about dinner. We never really tried any of that for dinner time. We've just done it for breakfast. Somewhere, if you're not looking for like a buffet breakfast and you want good quality food for quite cheap, is the Cracker Barrel. They've got a few of them dotted about. There's one on the 192, and there's one, I can't remember what the road is out the back, but it's off of the I4 towards the Tampa direction. It's further away from Disney and Universal. It's going the opposite direction. I believe that was the original, and then the one on the 192 opened after that, and I think we may have seen one other one, but it might just be those two. They're great. I had like a fresh start breakfast, which was a yogurt with granola on top. Then you get a choice of muffin. There's about 2 muffins you can choose from, and I was having a blueberry muffin every morning, but you can also get eggs and bacon with it as well. I think you could change your bacon for sausage, but I prefer bacon, so I was having like scrambled egg and bacon as well. So you're kind of getting a bit of everything. A lot of our party were having like eggs in a basket, which is just toast with a hole cut out in the middle, and they put like a poached egg in the middle of that, and you're getting bacon and sausage with that as well, kind of thing. You can have pancakes with syrup. They do blueberry pancakes with like strawberries and cream and things. They've got a really wide selection. My breakfast was about $7.99, so it's still really cheap, and I was finding that the eggs and the bacon and the yogurt with granola was filling me up so much. I was taking my muffin with me each day into the parks to have like as a late morning snack, I guess. It's definitely worth the money, and they have this great little thing where they've got rocking chairs outside that you can sit in. You can buy them. They've also got a little shop at the beginning where you can buy clothing, jewellery, garden ornaments. They've got everything. They've got sweets in there as well, so you kind of have to walk through that bit to then get to the restaurant. Then you can have your breakfast and everything, and then when you leave you actually pay in the shop for your food, and you leave your tip for your waitress on the table. but I definitely recommend Cracker Barrel. I loved it. Somewhere we went for sort of like late morning breakfast, early lunch, so like brunch, was Denny's. They're pretty good. They're quite cheap as well. I'm trying to think what it kind of reminded me of. I want to say it reminded me of a Wendy's, but I haven't been in a Wendy's since I was like 7, so I don't know. It's just a nice place. It's like a little cafe again, kind of like set out like a cafe, and you can get everything in there, like proper dinners, proper lunches, proper breakfast, or you can get like I think I had like a BLT sandwich kind of thing, toasted with loads of cheese in it. They do great milkshakes in there as well, and that's another thing. When you get a milkshake out there, most of the time you will get your milkshake in a glass like this big, and then you'll get a metal cup with another pretty much full thing of milkshake. And it's obviously just how they make it. They always have some left over, so you can kind of just top it up. In terms of dinners, we kind of just went everywhere. We went wherever tickled our fancy each night. Whatever we were driving past that was closest to us, or if we had something in mind that we'd seen the day before, we go there. So we went to Applebee's. That's just like it almost looks a bit like a sports bar kind of thing, combined with a cafe, I guess. And we just sat in like a booth, and that night I wasn't particularly hungry, so I literally just had nachos and mozzarella sticks. Some of the people we were with had like Cajun chicken, steak, pasta with prawns. You can get everything in there pretty much, and I'm pretty sure they were doing 2-for-1 beers in there as well, which was really good. Everywhere you go for dinner, soft drinks are pretty much always free refills, so Cokes, Mountain Dew, lemonade, things like that. Somewhere else we went, which was quite cheap, was TGI Fridays. They generally just call it Fridays though. That was really good. The only thing with that is you've got to watch their starter menu. One of the lads we were with, he had like a southern fried chicken starter. It did come with a Jack Daniel's sauce, but that was about $10, and I then had southern fried chicken for my main. And the other place we went to was Longhorn. It's great. It's like a Western style kind of thing in there. It's a steakhouse, and that's the first place we went for dinner, and they actually give you like free sourdough bread on the table, which you can ask for more and it will still be free. They give you like a free salad before your meal as well. It's great. You get a good amount of food for the price you're paying, and I think I was having like a 6 or 8 ounce steak, and it was something like $12, I think, so it wasn't too expensive, but it's something just a little bit different. It does get really busy though if you're going to the one on the 192. It's just a little bit further down from the Cracker Barrel, so if you were at Disney you'd be going away from Disney, so Cracker Barrel's like right at the other end of the road. And then you've got Longhorn a little bit closer to you. Things like the Sizzlers and the Ponderosa are closer to Disney down the 192. I have them dotted about as well. I'm just going on the road that we went down to Disney every day, so kind of giving you an idea in terms of where they are. That 192 has got loads of eating places. Applebee's is on there as well. Fridays was on there. Fridays is actually right next to the Cracker Barrels. The only thing that wasn't down that road, which we really wanted to do because we'd done it before, was a Kobe Japanese. They are amazing. You can go and have the teppanyaki, so you get like the full show with your dinner. So you'll get a chef that comes out and he'll cook all your food for you, but he'll do like a little show and tell you some jokes and things. So they're really worth going to. There's one on International Drive, which is where we went this time. The time before we were opposite the Orlando outlet, and it's kind of next to, if you looked over the road from over the I4, I should say, from the Orlando outlet, if you can see Hooters and the Sea Dog, it's just the other side of them, so it's in the same area. If you're staying on International Drive, there's a great range if you're going up and down that road. It's quite a long road though, so if you haven't got a car hire, you're probably gonna be eating at the places that are closest to you. They've also got a Hooters along International Drive as well. It's new and it looks really nice. In terms of eating in the parks, I've done a few different places in the parks, not many because they are really expensive normally. We did Crystal Palace for Christmas dinner The second time I went, that was amazing. You've got the characters in there. So at the moment they've just got like the Winnie Pooh characters in there. They've been in there since I was there when I was 12. It's a really posh kind of eating place. And we were looking at doing a character dine-in breakfast at possibly Chef Mickey's, but they book up so quickly. So if you want to do something like that and you're going at a busy time of year, like in school holidays, definitely try and do it with your linked up FastPass tickets and everything. You can do dining reservations with your tickets on the Disney website, so that's another thing to bear in mind. The only thing they do say is if you want to cancel those reservations, you need to cancel 24 hours beforehand, otherwise they may charge you because they take your card details. There was one diner reservation that I booked for all of our party to go to, and then I cancelled it while we were there about 3-4 days before we were due to go and eat there, and there was no problems whatsoever. Actually, I should say that reservation that I cancelled for the other bit of the party, we had to split onto 2 tables. We couldn't fit 7 people onto one table, so we had a booking of 3 and a booking of 4, so I cancelled the 3. We had another occasion where we had a dining reservation for 7 of us, and 2 of the people couldn't come because they were poorly, and all we did was just turn up and say our party of 7 is actually now a party of 5. So it's pretty easy. They don't sort of worry about things like that where just a couple of people drop out. It's just if you want to cancel your whole reservation, you kind of need to do it beforehand. Somewhere we ate, which was amazing this time, was in Hollywood Studios. It's called 50s Primetime Café, and it's like Mars Kitchen. So they'll call you to your table and they'll say Mars got dinner ready or something, or Mars calling you for dinner, and they'll tell you that you can't put your elbows on the table, and they'll sort of give you homework to do while you're waiting for your dinner and that. So yeah, it's something that I'm going to put a video up of in the future, because that was at Hollywood Studios, and that day of video is just like jam-packed. I couldn't make it any shorter than it is, and I've still like taken loads of stuff out, so that'll be something that I put up as another video, just so that if you're interested in seeing what it's like, you can kind of see that thing. Rainforest Cafe, they've got that just outside Animal Kingdom. We didn't actually eat in that one. We ate in the one in downtown Disney, which is a lot bigger, but reservations are ridiculous at downtown Disney. So we couldn't get a reservation for Animal Kingdom the day we were visiting there, but we could for downtown Disney a few days before that. One of the other places we went to, which is just like literally fast food cafe, is Cosmic Rays in the Magic Kingdom. That was really good. You literally just get in a queue. There's 3 different booths around it that kind of do different things. So there'll be like sandwiches, burgers and chicken, and me and my mum did chicken. We were trying to be a little bit healthy. We weren't really eating during the day. It was just that one day because it was the first day, and we kind of didn't feel hungry at breakfast, but we kind of did because we hadn't eaten the night before. So it was like you feel really hungry and then you eat and you're so full so quickly that you don't really eat a lot. So then by the time lunchtime comes round, but I say lunchtime, it's probably more like 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon. It was a bit late for lunch really. Kind of went and got like I don't really know what it was. It was chicken something that, and then you can get the salad yourself like for free. So we just like had a bit of chicken and chips, a couple of waters and some salad to go with it as well, just to stock up on some extra food, and it's free, the salad, so why not. So that was really good, and it wasn't too expensive either, especially if you're sharing. If you can get away with not eating lunch and you can just eat breakfast and dinner, that's great. If you're struggling and you think you need just a little something at lunchtime but you don't want to pay expensive prices, because their portions are really small anyway, you get like either a little round plate sort of like this, or you get one of the little like almost box kind of things, like half boxes, then it's good if you can share, and that's pretty much what me and my mum did the whole time. You can just get a churro for a couple of dollars. So yeah, try and get away with not eating lunch. It'll make your trip a lot cheaper. There was one other place we ate, which was in Epcot in England. We ate in the Rose and Crown. Yeah, Rose and Crown. I kept saying the Crown and Rose while we were there, so I just wanted to check what I had written down. So we ate in the Rose and Crown pub. I just had like traditional fish and chips, English fish and chips, and they were great. They tasted amazing, but you're paying a lot for maybe not almost the same portion as you get here, you're paying a little bit more for. It just didn't seem quite right. And me and my family, we're quite well known for going on holiday and not wanting English food. So we don't want chips. We want to eat Spanish food when we go to Spain. We want to eat, okay, America's not really a good example, but just didn't seem right going to eat in England when we were in America. But it was the best place for the fireworks, actually. So they do like a firework display show thing in the middle of the lake around World Showcase. If you eat in the Rose and Crown, they have this sort of patio area outside where if you've eaten in the restaurant can you go and sit out there, and they kind of like reserve it for people who have eaten dinner. So we booked our dinner for, I'm gonna say 6-7 o'clock, and the fireworks don't start till about 9. But we sort of took our time with eating dinner. My auntie, uncle and my mum stayed in the restaurant because this is one of the places where 2 of our party were poorly. And me and my cousin went off for a quick wander around a bit of the World Showcase that was close by. So to Canada and to Paris, which is the next country along. And then we just went back and they went and took us outside to a table. And it's quite good because it's undercover. So we said to them, if it chucks down with rain, will you still do the fireworks display? And they said, yeah, only in severe weather conditions. And the day before it had been torrential rain, and we said, so did it go off yesterday? And they said, yeah. So we went and sat outside, and lo and behold, as we sat outside, it started chucking it down. So it's quite handy that it had a cover, but because you're so close to the edge, it tends to drive inwards. So it wasn't brilliant. But we didn't get anywhere near as wet as we would have done if we'd been stood outside with anyone else. And you get a great view. There's a great big open space in front of it where you can see the globe come in from the right, and it sort of sits in the middle, and everything goes, well, everything that you need to see goes off in the middle, but all the fireworks are over the other side. So if you're stood round by, I'd say maybe Mexico, you might not see the fireworks as much. There might have been fireworks behind us as well, but obviously we had the pub behind us, so you can't see. But where we were sat, all the fireworks seemed to be going off behind Mexico and sort of Germany and around there. Tipping is a really awkward thing out there. We found out like 3 days before we were coming home that they only get paid like $2 something an hour, most of the wait staff. So they do rely just primarily on tips. When you get your bill, they will normally give you a couple of different options for tipping. So they'll kind of give you 15%, 18% and 20%. We were always doing the less number on there, and we were normally doing 10%, which some of the places do have 10% on, and then when we had 10% on our bill as an option, we were doing less than that as well, which is kind of bad. But we didn't really realise until afterwards that they were getting paid so little that they needed the tips. We thought it was just like they were asking for bigger tips, and we were like, well, the service was good, but we don't want to pay more than what our dinner cost just as a tip kind of thing, which is what it ended up working out some nights, that you were paying for your dinner and you were paying like $10, but when you're putting everyone's together, you were putting like $7 in for tip, and it seemed ridiculous to be paying almost as much for your tip as you were for your dinner. But then we understood, so the last couple of days we ended up tipping more because we were a bit like, oh, we've probably annoyed quite a lot of our waiters and waitresses. So bear that in mind when you're looking at the menu and you're thinking, oh, that's really cheap. At the end of it, you've just got to remember what you need to put on for tip. Obviously, you're going to have VAT on that as well. So we were trying to work our bills out between 7 of us. So we were sort of adding everyone's drinks, dinner together, then dividing the VAT by 7 and adding that on, and then dividing the bill by 7 and adding that on to the total of the drinks and the meals. So it was quite difficult when there was a lot of us. In terms of water in the parks, actually, they have fountains in quite a lot of the parks, but if they're out in the sun, they're normally warm. You have to like run them for a while, and there's always a queue. So if you can find fountains inside like queues, they're always cold because they're undercover slightly and they just seem to not get warm. So if you we had these little like roll up bottles. They were just plastic things. They were sort of like this long with a hard plastic top, but the rest of it you could literally like roll it up, so it was about this big with the top. They had like little clips that we could clip to our bum bags or our trouser loops, and we were just filling them up in the queues for rides. You can go up to the counters and say, do you do water? And they'll give you like tap water. Obviously you've got to say tap water, otherwise they'll give you like a bottle of water. And some of them do it and some of them don't. Some of them will say, yeah, we do, but you need to go to one of these like booths where they're all fancy and you just press a button and you select water. Don't think that you can get away with getting a Coke though when they give you a cup, because these cups have some sort of sensor on the bottom, and only when you put the ones with the sensors on the stand does it recognise you can have anything other than water. You can get the like refill cups as well, which are like $10 or something. And they used to be free refills after that. Now it's like $1 something for a refill, so they're not as good as they used to be. That's definitely for Universal. I'm not sure about Disney. I didn't really take much notice of refill cups in Disney because I only ever remember being able to get them when we were at Universal. So that's something handy to remember.
And they're going, are you ready? Do you need a couple more minutes to pay the bill? And we're like, yeah, just give us like another half an hour to pay the bill. It takes quite a while when there's a lot of you trying to figure it all out and make sure that you've got enough tips there and making sure you're paying enough for everyone's meals. And obviously my auntie, uncle and cousin, one of them's paying for all three of them, whereas me and my mum were paying for our own, and then the other two people with us were paying for their own as well.